Minnesota in the house. Is Chicago here? Not yet. Okay. We'll save their hype for when they come. New England. Is New England here? All right. We'll save their own hype too for when they come. All right. Am I missing any chapter that's in the house right now? Who? Huh? Hey, hey. Wow, wow, wow. I'm about to pay a fine to my chapter. Everybody, I need you to be quiet for this one. Please lend me your ears. I have committed a serious crime. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a thunderous applause for Northern California. I forgot my own chapter.
It's the sound bar.
Peace, love, and unity. Peace, love, and unity. Peace, love, and unity. Peace, love, and unity. Oh, ma. Belonyanga, for Taroyof. Atalvera venuation. Yankee Marshall, so we me more my ring. The Paramount fund also. That the family belongs to you. You will for now ring is here. You wanna fund vero. So we will so you wanna fund vero. Ma. Asanya Fuka. Chavlakai.
Let us preserve our unity, love, peace, and unity, standing together as one big family. Shuiso, Shuyero, Unafon Vervensoa. You wouldn't be even over, you wouldn't be even over, you wouldn't be even over, you wanna be even agree. Ay, oh yo, ay, oh baranga.
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 Where you wanna be even, where you wanna be so, where you wanna be even, where you wanna be so, where you wanna.
Peace, love, and unity. 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 Oh, ma. Belonyanga, for Taroyof. Atalvera venuation. Yankee Marshals, we me more my ring. The Paramount phone also. And the family belongs to you. You will for now ring is here. You wanna phone Vero. So we will be so high. You wanna phone Vero. Ma. Asanya Fuka. Chablakai.
Let us preserve our unity, love, peace, and unity, standing together as one big family. Shuiso, shuyero, una fon verven so you wouldn't be even over, you wouldn't be even over, you wouldn't be even over, you wanna be even agree. Ay oh yo, ay oh baranga.
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 Where you wanna be even, where you wanna be so, where you wanna be even, where you wanna be so, where you wanna.
Peace, love, and unity. Peace, love, and unity. Peace, love, and unity. Peace, love, and unity.
Peace, love, and unity. They don't more one so. Peace, love, and unity. They don't more one so. Ginyam so ji, the way you are doing for me. Ginyam so ji, the way you are doing for me. Ginyam what upon very venue ye shonya. Ginyam what upon very venue ye shonya. Without the world, then young liberty upon ginyam. Without the world, then young liberty upon ginyam.
Once of a yuri, movera furitongi. Bitum nisimi vasana vasanyo konin vika. Once of a yuri, movera furitongi. Bitum nisimi vasana vasanyo konin vika. Movishivisha vasanga
Okay.
To go right now. Right now. All right, we're ready. I have my confirmation from our. We are ready. teaching. As we do, our shall lead them. When our children are making them the love, let's show them. Have we heard? Let no. Ajay. North Cal, come on in. Come on in.
Go Northern California.
Come on in. Show them your style. Show them your style. Show them your style. Perfect. Who is next? None other but DC chapter. Come on in, DC. How about DC? Show us some style. Show us something, DC. Next up, New Mexico. Are we? Yeah. At least walk to the beat. There we go. Yes. 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 Yes, New Mexico. Very good. Well, Minnesota. Yeah. There's the energy we love. Show us. Show us. Yeah, I love it, Minnesota. I love it. Show
Minnesota's representing.
Minnesota. Whoa. Our youthful chapters, Arizona. So pretty. You all look so pretty. Show us your style. Is it very pretty? Yes. Yes, Arizona. Welcome. Welcome, Arizona. Up next. Up next. Up next with their very pretty uniform. New Jersey.
New Jersey
Yes.
kids with the sauce, y'all.
New Jersey is jumping. New Jersey is jumping.
New Jersey with the sauce, everybody.
Jumping New Jersey. Ajay. 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 Oh, here is our baby chapter. I'll wait for the music because no be small thing, no. This is not a small thing. Give us volume, DJ. This is my brother's chapter. Give us volume, DJ, I beg. There we are. Ha! North, north, north. North, north, north. Show me the Carolina style. Carolinas. Whether north or south, whether east or west, Carolina say.
We have the big kids of Northern
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Carolinas. The big kids of the Carolinas.
The big kids, Carolinas.
The elder kids. Let us welcome the new generation of our elder kids of the Carolinas. It can't be more fun than this.
Ajay, Ajay. All right. Next up, BFU Chicago. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. Come. Come, Chicago. Come, Chicago. Come. BFU Chicago. Okay. We're moving into Texas. We're moving into the big states. We're moving into the big states. Let's show some love, some Bowie Division love to Dallas. Are we all? Come on, Dallas. Show us, Dallas. Show us your style. Yeah. Here comes another group, part of our family. Kongajim, Central Ohio. Come on. Kongajim, Central Ohio. They're on the way. They're on the way. They're on the way.
From Central Ohio.
Show us your shirt, baby. Yeah.
That's right, baby girl.
Ajay, Akui, show them your style. Show them your style. Very nice. Congratulations, Central Ohio. All right. Okay. We have some very to the ones that organized and orchestrated, to the ones that sacrificed, to the ones that have brought us to this beautiful place. Let's show the Houston chapter the big love. Houston chapter. Come on in. Come on in, Houston chapter. Wow. This amount of children. TLD will be busy. Look at the children. This is who our organization is for. It's for you guys. Come on. It's for you beautiful children. Let's go. Show us your flags, Houston. See, there are big sisters in the back again. These are our elder siblings. Our elder siblings just cannot resist. TLD, oh yeah! TLD, oh yeah! Show them your style, guys. Let's go. This is how you guys are just standing? You cannot just give me something small. Move your feet. Something small. Yeah, I like that. Yes, so TLD, let's take it out. Thank you all so much. This is our kickoff to convention. Very, very, very. Okay, Abenio, let's go. Starting with Houston chapter. Let's take it on out. Yes. Take it on out. Yes, please give it up for our children. For our children. Let's go. Turn around, babies. There we are. Turn around. There we are. Turn around. There we go. Turn around.
Amulen, can we have the kids hold on, please? Kids,
Okay,
please
team.
Kids, please.
1 second.
Can we pause the music for a quick second? May I have all the kids, please, on each side? May I have some people come this way
Hold on 1
also?
second.
We have a message from our Father, and this message needs to be heard by all of us, his children. So if we don't mind, I would have TLD have the kids please stay with us for a quick moment. We listen to a word from our Father from Salt, and then the kids can go on back to the TLD room, okay?
Okay, we'll bring them a little closer then.
Yes,
Go
please
back to
come a
where you
little
were.
closer. Thank you. Thank you. Please, may we all have a seat so that we are organized. Thank you.
What you
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please, can we have all the adults at least in a place where they're going to be sitting? And where you are, I would ask that we be quiet when we stand up so that we listen to the words that our Father has for us prior to starting this occasion. So please, can we all rise? Thank you.
Vera. Asha Tinzo. Vera. Sugi, I want to address you. I draw up on there. Lie address. Yamo Boni. Young Shaw. Young Million, I'm young. Nasiya umeji akomuna from Wapinja. Ma dia asika homo That we do you for a sucker.
You're in charge.
With low. Whomever down here, whomever, pull up. From 40 from 4 30 for my moon bar. La light none in there. Down here, light none in there. How I drive man, you need to do that. Because we are on the ship. You see my name. It's a lie. In the boat.
Very tall.
See my leader, it's a lie boat. Kinkigan naturally. Umbo nekia muki wa yato. Ibe yaki wa kuye siwa kuye mai. We don't want energy. Our coming. We come for it.
You're in charge.
So I'm a la. The madrasa. Koiki adawi tu. Adraji jung. Asuya unijimba. Without internet in kumwaji bewa wiyaya. Mina suya unaji awa bati. Without understand. Atone ya wiyayo. Be bayo kera. Awa mati. Zone adafu chibi.
Chang drop.
I wish you woke my end for no movie or after. Can I want to share? While we are with a 4 week over on the good day, and the round is again that we Montana party to my enemy.
You're in charge.
Very out having.
A message from the Paramount Fund of SOUL to the Bush Family Union USA Houston Convention 2025. His Majesty started by greetings all sons and daughters of SOUL who are residing in the United States. His Majesty stated that we should try to live in peace and harmony, and we should always love our brothers and sisters as we love ourselves. His Majesty stated that we should always remember where we came from, and we should always try to take care of our parents who are back home because they are our gods. His Majesty also stated that the instability in Cameroon is gradually getting better, but the epicenter is still in Kumbu, and we should put all our prayers in God's hand because nothing is more than God to handle. His Majesty also stated that they received a word from the German that Yang Gonzo will be coming back to the Zhou dynasty in Cameroon. For those who will be chanced, they should accompany Yang Gonzo to Cameroon, and for those who would not be chanced to accompany Yang Gonzo, they should offer their prayers for the safe return of Yang Gonzo, who is or who was the founder of Zhou dynasty. As Yang Gonzo is coming back to the Zhou kingdom, we are praying that she should bring the peace and harmony that we desperately need for the kingdom. His Majesty called on all of us to provide food and drinks for those who will be accompanying Young Gonzo from Germany to Cameroon. His Majesty ended by wishing all of us good health, long life, and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your kind attentiveness. Our wonderful children, that was your great-grandpapa and grandpapa and papa to all of us, okay? All right. Now you're all excused to go and have an amazing time this afternoon. We want to hear all about it. Huh? Third floor.
Oh, ah. Oh, 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 ah.
It's the sound bar.
All the to be on the ballroom dinner last night. So please let your kids accompany the others. They'll have fun. They'll be painting, doing arts and crafts, and all kinds of fun stuff on the third floor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to our parents. Please send your kids over to the department so that they can have an doing arts and crafts. In the meantime, all the adults.
Please, young adults, we have a space for you. Young adults, we have a spot for you. Young adults.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, DJ Selmo, for this wonderful music. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, can we all be seated for our State of the Union? No, we're not going outside. We're going inside. Okay. Can we please all be seated for a word from our very own leader of this wonderful union? Thank you. I have the singular honor of calling up to the stage none other than Mr. Ray Banafti, our president of BFU-USA. Please give it up for Mr. Ray Banafti. Thank you.
Did anybody respond to that? BF. Thank you very much. Let me climb in the podium, right? At least for once. I don't know if it's going to work. Dom, where are you? Oh, okay, he killed it. Let me get down. All right. First of all, I want to thank Almighty God for bringing us here very safely. I know some of you had difficulties, as always, with summer travels, flight delays, rough road rides, flat tires, and stuff like that. But we thank God that there is nothing bad to report other than a delay in the transition. So let's give a hand for everyone. Congratulations for making it to Houston. As we say, and where the rockets fire, I want to start by appreciating, thanking, and acknowledging the most able leadership of the Houston chapter. Shufai, are you in the Here he comes. That is the giant that is leading us here. And if you've seen everything so far, I always tell him, sometimes when I get close to him, my hands become very itchy, and I have to be very, very all right, stuff happens. Yeah, my hands get very itchy because, what familiarity can bring, right? So sometimes I kind of like start shaking back and forth. And Shufai, thank you very much. And I am happy we are here today. It's not always easy. You can now testify. When he started, I told him, yeah, you know what? Nobody's going to be showing up for your meetings. You'll be talking and nobody will be listening. But the few that are standing with you and listening to you, keep moving. There reaches a critical point where the rest of the folks are going to line up. So don't get this. Where we're getting bigger. Great determination, great commitment. He cannot do it alone. Of course, there is a he has that has powered all of this right through to where we are today. And I don't want to name names, but you can see all of the, I'm colorblind. Has presented. And I want to give it up to Houston chapter. Clap for yourself and let's give them a hand of applause for a very great job that has been done during this convention. Awesome fit that you guys have gotten so far, and think nobody has complained about food, nobody has complained about anything. I think you're having a great time and feeling very comfortable here today. It's because folks have been running the street and rolling tires that we are able to have this event right here. That said, it appears my presentation kind of have some hitches along the way, and you may not be here, so you bear with me, and we just wing this through the best way we can, right? If you have questions, if there's time enough for us to have a conversation, so I don't really want to be making too much of a talking alone. I would like to have feedback from what is going on, what we've done, and what is going to happen tomorrow to BFU. My administration, we started off the union by believing that BFU can do better, that the potentials we have, we've not exploited it, and therefore, let us prepare ourselves and make sure we take advantage of everything else that there is on what we have been building for over 37 years. BFU started in 1988, and if you do your maths very well, this year makes it 37 years. So if you look at that, this is not an organization that was created yesterday. There's, in fact, very few of those people who are here that can, attest to that, those first meetings that we had, or the idea of bringing folks from Oku Boy Division. And maybe 2 from Oku, and maybe 1 from Noni, and stuff like that. And to kind of make that critical meeting point, there was need to be inclusive of every person. And I believe that anything that is big, you have to grow. You don't grow by looking inward. And that's why that idea of making it within the region, particularly based on our cultural heritage, was very necessary, and there was less friction in bringing all of these people together. So if you look at it back, the concept is still there, the idea is still there. All we need is to manage that growth. And think what we're happening now, like I mentioned in our leadership meeting, is the fact that there is the pain of growing. Sometimes growing is good. It takes some pain to leap some of the stages that you have to do, and we have a lot of that within our organization right now. I think I will be touching on that point a little bit longer, but I just want to make sure that everything that I'm going to say, I think if you have a copy of Likibome magazine, it's almost all there. If there is anything, it's just like the finish of those ideas. If you look at it, you see where BF is going and where the organization, my administration, believe we can go. And we can go by just leveraging some of the potentials that we have to ensure that we are not changing BFU. We are merely making sure that there is efficiencies in the way we are running the organization. We are not going to replace the culture of Boy Division. At the same time, we run an organization that has very legal implications with the government, and therefore we must be very compliant in everything that we do. The organizations run based on norms and culture, and those for BFU-USA, the norms are we're running based on family values. The way I would talk to my sister here, talk to my mom, or talk to traditional authorities, I have to do that because that is how respect or tradition is done within BFU-USA. At the same time, we will not allow people to use the organization, I don't mean use in a bad way, and don't be properly documenting what we are doing. And that is part where the government comes in. When we are doing stuff, we want to make sure that we are keeping our books clean, we are respecting that culture and doing whatever we are doing with regards to the legal implications of our actions, even though they are informed by our family values and norms. And these norms and values, these are things that are never written in law. And that's where we have this idea of the intent of every law that we have. There are things that are written and we may write them not very properly, and they could be interpreted differently, but we know that this is what we intended to write. So let us just use that as part of our good faith effort and commitment to making sure that we stay the course and ensure that our organization is not, derailed from what it's supposed to do, from its mission. So I mentioned earlier on this morning, one of the things that, I think we should be doing properly is communication. We try, but communication is what it is, right? You try sometimes very hard, but you may not be very perfect in the way you pass on those messages. And I think that it is high time that we become more open in terms of the administrative structures of BFU and be more communicative so that everybody can at least know what the organization stands for. And some of the things that the leadership is doing is not doing because they just want to do it, it's doing because it is necessary for us to do in order to make sure that we had handling BFU very well. I will not go back to be listing everything else that we have said in terms of what we have been doing for the past 3 years. I think that is self-evident in everything else that has been communicated to the union so far. So what I can do is just try to paint the picture going forward where we need to be, at least from our understanding and what we believe the union can do. And this basically is just the fact that let us take a step back and realize that there are lots and lots of opportunities for BFU that we can see come here and enjoy culture, because we're celebrating culture, and that's what the convention is all about. But when we leave the convention, there's lots of money out there. There's lots of things that the organization can benefit from, and I just believe that if BFU is just a social organization, we cannot be spending all of these resources just to enjoy, right? We have reached a stage where you should ask yourself, what is my impact to community? And I think BFU provides a very unique opportunity for all of us to chip in and make meaningful impact. Create that legacy. You know, do things with an idea that tomorrow we can hand over something to the younger generation. And I believe that if we do that, then we can now separate BFU like what we were talking about earlier on, you know, branding the organization. If you go out there and you are talking to some of these Western organizations of development, Shufai is here, he's worked in all of those for all of his life. He can testify with you. Many of us know this. You have to communicate with them, present yourself in a way that they will understand that you are one of them and you are doing things the way they are supposed to be done. That is the idea about branding that you keep hearing us saying, right? When you go and you're talking, language is very important, and we have to present ourselves in a way that people can understand us and know that we are doing stuff that is relevant in their own mission, and we can help leverage, you know, the goals of which those partner organizations, you know, can help us achieve. So that is just the essence of my administration in terms of positioning BFU for growth, so that we can come here and we're having executing projects either here in America, and I think we have greater opportunity helping people back home in terms of hundreds, or if not, you know, huge sums of money. All we need to do is take the time, put the paperwork together, make sure we present ourselves right, and those things will be achieved. And there will be less demand on everyone to be contributing, you know, to the running of the organization. Yes, we will still be there to show our commitment, but I think there's much more to gain. And I think having come here so far, we cannot dismiss some of the issues, challenges that we have as an organization at this point in time. I mentioned about the ideas of the pain of growing, and the pain of growing is in so many ways. Sometimes we see the consequences and we can't even trace where is this pain coming from, but you feel the pain. And one of these pain has been lately the idea of there's some campaign, some feelings of changing the name of the union. I think that would be leadership malpractice if I don't speak about now. That they feel that BFU was originally conceived and as a union of Oku, Noni, and Chol people. And if you look at the founding documents of the union, if you still believe in it, they talk about membership in BFU, and it's the people from Chol origin and or friends who are, you know, related by marriage or whatever to folks from Bui division, and also anybody who ascribe to the mission and vision of BFU-USA. And I think this is very, very revealing of even our identity as Tsok people. If you go to Tsok, you go to every village, you go to every fundam, you will see people that you cannot trace their sources directly to the immediate core family of that union. And it's because Tsok people are very welcoming. If you come in there and you behave well and you're a good person and you can contribute, it's like America, you're welcome. They take you as a member and they never push you aside as being a stranger within that community. That is the good faith that has been founded. And I think that is the spirit that informed the founding document of BFU-USA. So when we say now that because the Oku people have left, the Noni people have left, that Tsok people should leave because there's no longer BFU-USA, I found it, or find it really, I have to choose my words here very carefully. I found it as not being well thought through in terms of what we should be doing. Because I gave an example earlier on of, we are sitting here in a beautiful hotel. See how this, assume that this is a house that was built by Tsok people, Noni people, and Oku people. And then the Oku said, okay, because Ray has 20 children, and Mfome has just 3, and then Dr. Pascal doesn't have a child. But Dr. Pascal started feeling very comfortable because the house is overrun. He doesn't even have a voice. They go to vote, he loses. They cook food, he eats the least. But then he's still contributing to maintaining that house. And he said, no, I'm not going to do this. Makes sense for me to go build my own house. I will limit my expenses. He leaves. And then Mfome sits back and realizes that Ray with his 10 children and the wife and the kid, they are so overwhelming and burdensome to him. He wants to leave. And then he packs and leaves. And I sit back as Ray with my own family in this beautiful hotel. I am alone. Is my family. It's great real estate. And I decide that because Mfome has left, Doctor has left, I'm taking to my bag and I'm going. This house, it no longer exists because it was conceived for 3 people and it's only me living there, right? That is the logic, in my opinion, of what anyone calling for BFU to change their name to NFU is actually saying. If that makes sense to you, then I will need to go rethink my own thoughts, right? Because if you've given me all of this and I'm living it for the simple reason people have left, I mean, that is not a reasonable proposition. And I wish that everybody who is here and is participating in that conversation should think through very well. Because this is what you call the brand equity, the brand that you've built for yourself. We have known. There's, I think I saw a delegate here or two from Europe. They can tell you, hopefully by the time the convention ends, they can see some things that are happening here and they can relate it to what happens in Europe, right? NFU, what they do is they are conceived and operating with the goal of being like BFU-USA. They have never reached there. I've been somebody like a resource to some of the leadership there, and they're aspiring to be like us. Why should we then be aspiring to be like the people who are looking up to us for inspiration? That doesn't make much sense to me. And I just want all of us to have this conversation, frankly. And those who are asking for the conversation, listen to them. Ask them, what is it that you want to achieve with this proposition? And let's have that open conversation. If there is something else that we are missing, then we can learn, right? And then see exactly what can be achieved. What is it that you can achieve as NFU that you're not achieving as BFU? We are able to do stuff because you mentioned BFU, they know that is a brand that I recognize. That's a brand that I know. That is a name that I don't need to explain myself. And you go back to, NFU. Some of the folks that are in this room, they can give you testimony of the results of those efforts within the union. I'm not shutting down conversations, but I think we should be open, listen to them, just ask the question, what do you want to achieve that you cannot achieve with BFU-USA? And therefore, we can then make very meaningful, insightful, and long-lasting decisions that will be able to lead us to where we want to be. I believe that using BFU that we have built for 37 years, there are challenges that will leave us in a better position. Some of us here will not be there. And like I always mention to some of my elders, I will not expect a child that is born in this country to dance jang the way I dance. I will not. But if he has the rhythm and knows that if they hear this music is called jang, that's enough for me. Because at least they get where we're coming from, they can identify themselves, and they can know that we are, our parents or my roots trace back to Cameroon, or trace back to Boy Division, or trace back to Nzo, or whatever you want to have. We cannot just live by saying that they must do it the way we do it before it is right. And I will take an example at this point to buttress one thing that has been very concerning within the organization. I was talking with the chairman of the board, Shane Tassin, this morning during the meeting. And we were tracing back how BFU has come along, right? And one of the things that was in the conversation, you always hear this thing repeatedly saying, the elders are holding the organization into hostage, and therefore pushing out the youth, refusing them from taking opportunities, in leadership. And I always go back, which is what Shay was pointing out this morning. At some point, we were seen as youths, and we were causing a lot of trouble, and holding meetings and storming at the leadership and telling them, no, this is the way we're supposed to run BFU-USA. This is what we think about BFU. And the point is, stick the cause, have that conversation, and bring forth your ideas. At some point, the message will pass through. But you have to be open, and knowing that what you're doing, the conversation is open, is real, it's not gotten behind people. That is where it breeds very ill feelings and, lots of discouragement, in the growth of the organization. I'm bringing this point because there's one person that I always like to point out as an example. A young man who has consistently and very purposefully stood up and raised his hand and said, Uncle Ray, you approach him anyway, say, hey, I have this thing I want to do. Can you help me out? I don't have a clue how to get it done, but this is the idea. I know where I want to go, but I don't know a clue how I'm going to get there. And we listen and listen. I explained to him. And I'm talking here about, to make it very straight and short, Dominic Forby. He is the current Chief Technology Officer for BFU-USA. When I talked to him, he said, okay, Uncle Ray, let me think through this and understand exactly what you want to do. And he came back and said, yes, I can do it. I said, okay, this is what I want us to do for BFU-USA. And that guy, since he took the job, he's been doing a marvelously excellent job for the union without complaint. So give your hands, please, to Dominic for. Thank you, Dominic. And when he started, it did not end there. He's the first chapter president for the Carolinas. There you go, the Carolinas in the house here. Beautiful. So that is the savior who took over a lot of trouble from Shay's shoulders. So, so you need to give Dominic some drink, right? So he came to the New Jersey convention, and what he did was, we have a list of how chapters should be formed. This guy took the list, every document that is required, he printed it, put it into a folder, and put it in his suitcase. And I think Shay Mainsa is here and can testify. He called for Shay. Shay was supposed to be the witness. He walked over to me and said, Uncle Ray, these are my documents. We are ready to create a chapter. Here you go. I want you to announce it now. That is him. That was the drive that he had. And Shay was there. I told them, yeah, no, great job. You've done a beautiful job. I think you have everything right. But you know what? We don't do it this way. Can you go back and, formally apply for it the way it's supposed to be done? I know your documents are complete, but this is not the way to deliver those documents. And he came back, did the same thing, and sent it forward. Circle back. We were there for lunch. I was there for the lunch. And I stood with him, I congratulated him, and I still congratulate him. And in the course of our conversation, he told me, Ray, I just want to understand how BFU functions. That is a young man, a youth as you will have it. He's a parent now. Don, I'm saying young man in a very nice way, right? Yeah, he's a happy father and a very awesome, beautiful wife. So congratulations on that. So I just want to narrate this story so that we can have a common understanding of how, when you hear those things, at least help educate people who do not know. And he's been meticulously getting involved, asking for more, learning more, understanding how things work, so that if he can, at least before he's speaking, he has a good picture of how BFU works. And in our conversation, he had mentioned that at some point, he would like to lead BFU. Now, if you see a child who is consistently, meticulously doing what is supposed to be done, first of all, to seek knowledge, to understand how it works, and therefore, when the time comes, you know that he is ready for it. Why wouldn't you, work with that person, encourage them to do it? So when I see a young person saying that we are not giving out leadership to the youth, I am like, you don't get it. And therefore, they go out with very assumptive type of knowledge and, try to take leadership, cause a lot of trouble, and because they don't understand what they're doing. And I want all of us to be part of this conversation so that when you hear people doing that, please just inform them, educate them, so that they can come in. Every time BFU is a volunteer organization, I don't see any time, not in my experience, and I've been there with Shane Tassin for a very long time, that somebody has ever raised a hand and say, I want to help, and he was refused the opportunity to help in BFU-USA. So when you want to know, step in, learn it, and then you have an opportunity so that you can know what to do. I just want all of us to help educate and do that. And part of the reason that we have deliberately done to ensure that the young ones can at least start getting into it and knowing it is because we created the Talent and Leadership Development Department. We did that because we believe that's the opportunity for the young ones to get involved. And I'm looking at a picture that I personally snapped in 2010 in Dallas of Shane Tassin's daughter, Vera, Shufai Ngai's daughter, Megan. They were little girls who had no clue where they were going. And they came to me and said, Uncle, I asked them, I called them and said, can you guys help me sell this? And they were so happy. They took the magazines. In 10 minutes, they were going from each person to, and they sold all of it. I was so excited. I put them together and took a picture and said, hey, you guys have done a great job. I'm going to put your picture in the next magazine. And they were happy. And that next year, I did show them the picture of the magazine, where they are. And even 2 years back, I took that page of the magazine and I shared it with them. Megan, Vera, Denisa, Amolen, and the rest, are they not the people running talent and leadership development? That is the way you build succession in an organization. And I believe that all of us should be involved to make sure that we take that long-term approach to doing this thing and transitioning it. Nobody is holding the organization hostage. Tomorrow I will be gone. Tomorrow I will be gone. And everything else that remains of BFU, I still have a passion and I still believe that BFU is something that we can use to impact our community. I will still be supporting it. So let us just have that spirit. If you can give $10, please give that $10. Not because you are giving it to a particular administration. Give it because you are supporting BFU. You have the opportunity to challenge the way it's used. You have the opportunity to demand accountability. And I think that's what we can do. And let's us together make sure we hold this organization and build it. It's easy. Talk is cheap. When you see something that's not right, please use the right channels, address your concerns. Let's listen and see the best way to do it. Nobody has a monopoly of ideas. And if we do that, I think BFU will be something that we will be lying on our deathbeds and be very proud of being part of BFU-USA. Let me not take a lot of your time. I will allow that that we have a conversation here, and still continue to have that conversation. Make sure that it's very, very effective so we can deliver the best that we can. Nobody has all of the dollars. If we had it, we would just do things individually. But as a community, I think it is very helpful that we leverage each and every one of us here, each and every one of our talent, seek advice, And when you give advice, this is one thing that I've experienced in my short leadership. If I ask you something for an advice based on your expertise and knowledge, know that I'm asking 3 other persons that same question or that same advice. And if it happens that the outcome of what is being done is not exactly what you advise us to do, it's not because we didn't listen. It's not because we are dismissing your advice. It's because somebody else gave another advice which appeared much more relevant to the solution to that situation compared to what you provided. But what you provided still counts because it considered that alternative in the decision of that body. So whenever you give advice, please be open and consider it as being an advice. We may not execute it exactly, not because we don't want to execute, but because there was a better way of doing what we have. Like they said, you go to a doctor, he will prescribe to you the best based on what you provide him as information. And if you give out half information, the drugs that are going to be prescribed to you will be half, and therefore you will not get cured, right, doc? So that is just the way we approach it, and I don't want to take so much time talking alone. I will leave it here. Let's have an open conversation. Jew, where are you? And follow this. Okay, sorry. And follow the schedule, to make sure that we stay on schedule. Houston has been doing so great with timing, and it's because we want to make sure that what they planned, what we planned, should be executed the way it's supposed to be executed to the best of our ability and circumstances. So thank you very much, and I welcome again once more to Houston 25.
Much, Mr. President. I'm going to give an opportunity for questions so that Mr. President is here. Anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, I'll walk over to you, and then Mr. President will have a chance to respond. We have this exercise for about 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Tata Mjashwe from Minnesota. So the question I have is about language. I know I've not been in BFU for a long time, and I just wanted to know, because we have languages that are of Bui origin, and BFU is Bui. And I believe that when you have international organizations, maybe like the UN, the Chinese will come and address the UN in Chinese. It could be translated. The Russians will come and address in Russian. So I just wanted to know, because growing up, going to school, we used to be beaten in school when we speak our language. And later on, after school, we realized there is pride in that language, and we've been trying our best to learn it. So I just want to know, why is it that BFU convention cannot use a language from Bui, that is our own language? Thank you.
Great question, Mr. Tata. I've heard that question several times, or concern several times. And what I will tell you is this: there is never a time in if my arithmetic is right, over 20 or 21 years or so in BFU, has any person ever got up to speak in Lamso, in Noni or Oku, and the mic was taken from him that you cannot speak in that language. Nobody has ever done that. You express yourself in the best language you think you can effectively communicate with. But the point is this: we are a very encompassing community, right? When you are talking in Lamso, you're eliminating part of the audience, right? Because there are some members, bona fide members of the union, who will not understand you, right? So what medium will you choose to communicate if you want your message to be properly understood? It's a judgment call for you. If you want to talk in Jotin, in Noni, in Oko, and that you feel that's the best way you want to communicate. Let me tell you this. There are BFU chapters that part of their deliberations every month is, at least in Dallas, they used to call it 15 minutes in Lamso, right? Where the kids are put together and someone stands up and is teaching them little phrases, names and stuff like that in Lamso. That chapter does not stop anybody from Oku from doing the same. In fact, language is power. If you are able to speak multiple languages, I think you stand a better chance, right? In so many circumstances. So to me, language, people who believe that BFU should be identified by language, they are missing a greater part of that organization. Yes, if you want to speak, we have my grandmom here or grandpa who is so passionate about, what we do here, we just listen to the phone. Here, addressing us in Lamso, did anybody object? Because that's the most effective language that the phone has to communicate. Why were we translating? Because we want the message to be as widespread as possible so that it has its intended impact. We could have just listened to Lamso and move on and have our chat beside each other for anybody who did not understand the message. But is that the best way to communicate? I do not think so. Maybe you think. That is just my view about language. Language is to communicate. And if you use the best language that you want to communicate, I think, and deliver your message to the greater impact of the audience that you need, so be it. I don't know if that kind of sheds more perspective into your thoughts about language. You can speak it anywhere. We have people here from Oku sitting in this room. They can decide to get up and speak in Oku. Nobody will stop them. Until that happens, I think anybody can do what they want in terms of communication in this hall. Thank you. And I don't know, maybe someone has something to add. Let's be open and shed more light so that, because these are things that people kind of conceive in their corners and they talk within the ecosystem and just believe that that is the only way to think until someone else has another opinion. So I would love for us to be open and maybe, yes, thank you.
Derita, mlayong ye jikinyo ke bi lam ki drashi ai bisin kiyeji lam e kari the lam wo ifo wobsun win a sunena the lam so kan mo owero sunen lam jotin kinu sunen lam be ku kinu sunna da wosi unayen yeji asaka sunena da ginyo ke ba ta yukiya afsun veji sun duanwa ai suni yimo du de mi kinafen ke yonga de jawai ya da jawa ya la lamso awo jawa sunina mo jaki ya kinyo mo kibe pen lo anu yena abine ne fen de chemistry fen de biology ani na sunna lamso mina suji lamso for winso de moji da lamu ada sunin ai lo an mo ada lamidu ji auni o ke lamso ben sunin lamso yibe ya wura mo be ayo ke lamso kan sa sunin kinyo e dulli asungna se lamso akasungna de lamme kare we me yure ken bibirin mena tom nyoka ta suji asungna lamso akiji asung lamso arafia asungna lamso du de meli kan mo abo wudu okuyu woni na yen moji akasungna na da dra yimo be am si yong kan se sun din ai tang ne tan ne sungnin si wen sungni yusungni ni binkire lo sungna se lamso na ba kun dra yu anina cheki jabai asaka sunin lamso aventia drai kinati ya retadu kinati ya drai itatum asunin na da lamun sunin bena bo kunyo ga sunin kada ayo wa kunyu sanyo akelia ani yuru mo jiran mo sunin sunin na mo da kunyu mo ke bo ki o ge na be kinakata yuna rena bena de mo ji kam na akun loko akon be so besen lo sungnin yanse azi sungnin moji akata asungnin ra lamso anin kiyar yeji wuru akati ta du kana akati ya tatum alolo sungnin kam na min kullo yongare lamin ilamin sungnin bodo yeji kada wins akapati even sungnin ra lamso moji bosi nyuka lelenbe tamina tomni yeji alolo yong yeji asungna lamso tambo ko binsini ara asungna lamso bananin cheki yima wurobo lu lamso du maisi ayi sungna lamso ko kwati ka su kwati kan mo nyuka su itu tamoji du ko da onyu mo da ka ba ki kon ki yabe imena bine lambara for suiji English is going to be a little bit of a language that unites all of us. And when you are looking at some of our families, you have dad that speaks Lamso, mom speaks Oku. Then what else? Then in some houses, you have families that Dad is Noni. That the kids are in So, and dad is Oku. I have friends that their parents are from both sides, but they live in So, and they don't even understand either language. But at the end, the basic language that, like Tare is saying, that everybody will really understand, and that is the basic. Do people really understand what you're trying to communicate? Might just be English. And so we should, like he rightly said, assess who are the people that we're trying to talk to and what are we trying to communicate? And are they really getting us? Because if at the end of the day I stand here and I speak in Lamso like I was trying to say, ask some people, what did he even just say? Maybe they don't even understand it. Or at the end, you are talking as if we talk in school, and there's one person from Jotin, one person from So, one person from Oku, and at the end, like you are in St. Augustine, and at the end you are saying, okay, I okieji f of x ye lo drilemben kimenadra digi atisia the two shua. So what do you expect the other person? Now you are trying to hold the knowledge back. Okay, akalini number one, you understanding kujung. Ade William Manabo ananmo at the trigonometry or at the fraction understanding. F of x was doing women MC2 lemon mina da lam so booking da drayele. Not tier for when I on age. Alo akenasun lamson mo tayongen. Lejima wiro dre we yukunyuka ayongen ikerin sa kijunga. So when you are speaking the language, try to make sure you don't let the other person feel they are excluded and they don't get to the bottom of the message. Very much.
Oh, Very, thanks so much for that intervention. And this is, language is, to many of us here, is kind of everyone with a family loves to have the entire family speaking Lamso. Everybody, even me, I am very disappointed with myself. When I look at myself relative to my uncle, Uncle Toby, and I see what great job he has done with the kids, all of them, born, bred here in the United States, they've never left. And they speak Lamso like crazy. In fact, when I am talking to them in English, and every single sentence or expression I have in English, the response is in Lamso. Sometimes I have to pull back and I'm like, what are you doing? Don't you get it? So these are things that everyone wants to do. But we have to be very pragmatic. And I think everyone here should strive. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Mr. President. Pascal Kinga here, Houston branch member, Houston chapter member. Prezi, I just wanted you to elaborate more on the legal aspects of a name change so that our members can understand what it means to change the name of an organization like BFU.
Hi, Tado, you want to kill me right there, right? You see, I didn't go. That is a 100 pounds type of, you know. But I know I can chime in at least from the basis of my leadership role and what I know. But I will allow Tabin Lafon to kind of kick in here a little bit, you know, into the implications of. All right. Ty is playing the fifth, so. So let me defer that that response to that question to the board chair who is here. Shay, maybe you could throw more light on this. That has been a very burning question that we've been discussing in various arenas of communication. So, Shay.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And before I try to provide, you know, some clarity, let me take the opportunity, first of all, to welcome to Houston and to say, Houston, thank you very much for welcoming us into your house. It's been a day. On the issue of the name change, renaming BFU to NFU, if one looks at the name change, it looks like you're basically just erasing BUI and typing so in our documents. But it is not that simple. And the reason it is not simple is because the name itself actually defines the structure of the organization. Because the name has a lot of implications on membership, a lot of implications on its structure. And so therefore, to simply rename the organization would be to ignore the very foundation on which the organization was built. You would, as those who know the legal languages would say, you're changing the form and the structure of the organization. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a company, and that company was built such that its name defines its structure. If you basically just say, I want to rename the company, and ignore the fact that the name was actually what defined the structure of the company, then you will run afoul. Basically, you will actually be breaking the laws on which that company was built. So if we want to truly change BFU to NFU, we would have to back out of the BFU household and then practically create what's NFU. But at the end of the day, just like the president mentioned earlier, we have to ask ourselves this fundamental question. What is it that we want to do today that we cannot do because of the BUI in the name? If we sat today and said, now we're calling it so, let's say we switch it, we go back now and we recreate NFU. What is it we're going to do tomorrow that we cannot do today? Because each time you're trying to make such a foundational change, you should always ask the question, what is it that it will allow me to do that I cannot do today? Inclusiveness does not exist in the English language for no reason. It exists because it's a word that defines a very clear concept. I believe that even though the Noni folks have their association, Oku folks have their association, this house still has a place for them anytime they show up. Those who are here right now, who are from Noni and from Oku, are part of this house and should be part of this house. Should not feel like we have to re-invite them back into Nzo, because that's what that would actually do. And so we should really think carefully about this. I do understand that BUI makes some people feel queasy. They're like, why are we using a name that represents an administrative entity as opposed to a name that represents the tradition or the traditional grouping that we come from? And let me say, where majority, mostly Nso people come from. And so, I think we should actually take a step back and really rethink this whole thing and not actually think that a simple name change is what we need. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you, and our brothers from and sisters, mothers from Houston, thank you. To this point, what is in a name? To change the name is not complicated, but it's a long process. But that's not the issue. The core issue is why change? I have been in 3 organizations where we have changed the name, but still remaining because the objectives, the activities, the strategies have changed. When you, first organization, JPIGO was John Hopkins International Program for Gynecologists and Obstetricians. But we were not doing that after some time. But they changed the name to JPIGO, no longer acronym, but the first letter was uppercase, the rest lowercase, so you don't define it. Family Health International, where I was the representative of Family Health International in Guinea, changed to Family Health, no, to FHI 360, depending on how it is growing. AVSC, Association of Voluntary Contraception, changed to Engender Health. And you people saw Twitter changed to what? Something else, but I'm talking about what I know. But when there things that you are doing change, and it's no longer what the original was, may define you to change the name. You remember when you want to change the name, we are talking about BFU and NFU, right? Something which we have not discussed in detail, but once you discuss, you want to change, you have to remember several things. The Paramount Fund of Bui, the fund I'm sorry is called Paramount of Bui, something. That's one point. The people where we were, I was the chapter president for one time for BFU DC Metro, by the way, which includes Maryland, DC Metro, and Virginia. So, because yesterday when they said Maryland, DC people were contesting. Anyway, so, and the Oku people had their own convention where we were invited as guests. And we supported them, they supported us. So let's look at the fundamental issue. You can define BFU, if you don't want, if other people are not coming, as an association of some people. It's for us to look, why do we want to change the name? I think that's the fundamental thing, and I think that it is good for discussion. Once we discuss and people put in points, then we will see who is winning. And then, of course, the change, to me, is not difficult at all, but the process is long, but it's not complicated. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And I just want to make a very simple point, right? Like Dr. Kinga asked for the legalistic implications, which means even though we are making points here, but somebody with a legal background and probably accounting background might need to look into this kind of stuff. an example, this is not the first time that some kind of change is being brought in. I remember several years ago, there was an attempt to move the headquarters of BFU-USA to another state. And lawyers were brought in. You know what the results came out to be? They were legally informed that for them to move the headquarters of BFU-USA to another state, they would have to dissolve the existing BFU and then create another one in that state. I just wanted to let everyone have this in perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for bringing this issue to the floor. I think it's an issue that needs to be discussed and discussed amply. Many of you who are here know what heated discussions you have had with me about this name change and about the proposal. And I'm sure that you know my feelings about it. Number one is the idea that if your brothers grow and leave the house and you are left as the chop chair, you should also abandon the compound. I think that is the most stupid idea that I ever had proposed, that I should go leave my Bingi compound now because my brothers grew up and left and became Bingi Semelu and Bingi Sewat, so we should also abandon Bingis of the original Bingi company to compound to go and form another compound. We will never do anything like that. The second thing that was said was the legal implications, and I think that Uncle Tabi here just explained to us. We are not going to dissolve BFU, liquidate BFU's assets, share them among the parts of BFU before starting all over to create and so a family union. And that is, those who are the proponents of this have not explained to me why we have to erase 37 years of our history to start all over, because that is what the IRS rules require that we do. So I think that while we are talking about this, we should rethink that. And when I stood up, you saw me carry the copy of this magazine. I would like everybody to get a copy. I'm going to read from page 33. What it says in page 33 on the Bui cultural and economic potential is that Bui division was created with the plateau that defines the geographic boundaries of the Paramount Kingdom of Ntso. Let me read it again. Bui division was created to be coterminous with the plateau that defines the boundaries of the Paramount Kingdom of Ntso by Cameroon Government Decree number 77/245 of July 15, 1977. That is why, as Sufai said, Sufai Nsobati said, the fund of Ntso is officially called in Cameroon the Paramount Fund of Bui, because Bui covers the extent of the Ntso paramountcy. So if there were any traditional definitions to try to justify that, I would say, let us stick with Bui, because even administratively, that is what Bui is. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shay. Thank you very much. And let me just add in here one thing before we have the next speaker. And the point is still back to these are the pains of growth. It makes people bringing ideas because they start seeing the organization from different perspectives. And if you yield to that level of thinking, what stops BFU or NFU from 10 years from today? A group of people start saying that this NFU is 80% people from Kumbu. Let's change it to Kumbu Family Union, right? So that people can at least feel more family in Kumbu. For those who are in Dzekwa, can go get their own thing because Dzekwa is not part of Kumbu. That's mission. Keep going into that direction until at one point in time, I'm not saying, don't quote me anyway, that, the people in Kumbu, that maybe Mbingi is too small, so I will not quote that example. Maybe the people, since they're kind of like the economic capital of Kumbu, that it should be from. I am just saying. So, anyway, but that is the level of thing get into one thing leading to another because we are more closer to our within our own smaller communities. It is a bad idea, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I won't belabor the points that have already been made. They are valid points. And I believe that in terms of listening, this is a great forum so that those who propose this change can listen and understand the implications. Having this discussion is a rich discussion. It's really great. And it brings me back to the question, what is it that you want to achieve with NFU that you can't achieve with BFU? So the points that have been made really go towards making that point. And the point I want to add to that is the one that was made in the meeting this morning, growth. We are growing. The kind of impact, when we do the things that we do back in Cameroon, we are happy. We want to reach as many of our people as possible. Can we do it alone? We need external partnership. One of the selling points of BFU is that we have coverage in the entire division. We currently are covering the entire division with education and health. Should we go to our partners and say, no, we only cover and maybe a few villages in So? Where are we going? What's our trajectory going forward? We say we meet our people where they are, and that's our selling point. We continue to be a family, but we want to really position ourselves so that we can attract external funding. How can we do that? That's just the point that I wanted to add to this.
Thank you.
Prof.
I have.
Thank you. Lam Lafon here. As the president said earlier, I was conversation. I wanted to hear from my chair of the board first. And I appreciate all the points that have been added. As vice chair of the board and former national president, I think what we're trying to do is equip everybody here with information that we can use to have the right type of conversations if this comes up in our chapters. It's not to say that we shouldn't have the conversation. This is not the first time this has come up. I'm sure under Shufai's regimen as well, this issue came up as well. So I really want somebody in this room who is for this idea to stand up and help us understand more. Because the voices we've heard is really those that say, let's keep it the way it is. When we were running the elections that just finished, I got a text message, I'm going to read from who. But the person sent me a message and said that the only plea he has is that we change the name from BFU to NFU to avoid functional inconsistencies. So I asked, and he said that's been the cry of the masses. So I asked, we went conversation on text to understand more, and I provided some additional perspective which has been shared here. And the other thing he said, well, I've already said it's a he, so there are cultural organizations. Where is the Nso then? how the masses wish the problem is corrected once and for all. And that let the organization discuss this, and we wish that is discussed at the upcoming convention. Thank you for your service. So when I read that, I said, but then I realized that it was a one-way conversation. The minds had already been made up, and that they were coming to me to tell me what to go do. So it wasn't about listening. It was about, you guys go change this name. Regardless of whether we've talked about dissolving the union, which would, liquidate over $500,000 that we have, and those other things, let alone all the rebranding that we need to do online for all the work we've done over 30 years, right? And going back to our constituents to explain in the villages we've worked for that, hey, now we're no longer BFU or NFU, but still work with us. Like all that stuff. So then really the question is, what is the advantage? When you look at pros and cons, what are we trying to achieve? And I've asked that question a million times because I am from Kian. So as we say in the division that touched Kian, but we're doing. So should I stand up and say we the aborigines of Kian, we too are fed up, and so we should go and form our own Kian family union, which rhymes with KFU, right? Kimbo, I don't know who takes precedence, Kian or Kumbo. I mean, the emotional harm we cause, which we seem to focus more on the legality and things like that. But you Ibrahim Traoré trying to bring Africans together. You look at what the president of this country is doing to immigrants. And here we are talking about trying to limit ourselves to an even much smaller group because they get their own groups. Like the logic. The other aspect, where's a chapter president of New Jersey? Please stand up. This is a family union, so we're going to talk about family. John Buta is a man from Oku. So what are we saying? What are we saying to the likes of John? What are we saying to people whose fathers are not from So, but their mothers are, and those people in leadership positions in this union? What are we saying to the kids who are born here, who have traced their roots back to Tikar, but they cannot find where and they want to belong? What are we saying to those people? Most of you know me. My mom is from Chang. My dad is from Kian. What are you saying to me? Yeah, seriously. Because if we don't end there, no, we only want pure blood. This is what I grew up with. So I don't mind talking about it. That we only want pure blood. It was even West. This really, this is a native soil. We behave this way. We have to know and be big enough to say we have a bigger vision as a union, and we have a bigger place to go. A group. So we should create our own group. So I go back to give me a reason that I can hold on to and be passionate about and tell my children that this is the why. Without that reason, we don't throw. We don't. And call and many other chapters that have mixed families and strong leaders who can be because we want to be small. That's what we're trying to be.
And the record, the Secretary General for Minnesota, blanking the name. Minnesota, can you help me? Or is it the former? Secretary, I think forgetting her name. I think she was from Oku or something. Who?
Yeah, he's from the Oku. Okay, I just wanted to point that out to see that these are not how inclusive we are. I'm sorry for messing that up, but I know these are some of the things that are real in our leadership. So thank you for that correction. And yeah, I don't know, just saying. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I got lost on I know I came in a little late, but I did get a gist of what we're talking about. And this conversation has been happening in our union for a long time. So in different ways, different aspects of it. By the way, my name is Mike King. I'm the senior. I'm a veteran of the organization and the senior member of the organization. So I have my AARP card. So the question that I keeps coming to mind is, when you have new organizations, we started an organization here, BFU-USA. There is a Bonatti somewhere in this, from who is still, they are still our own members that have formed the Bonatti. They are former Bonpicheri. Why do we have to have, those people don't come here with their bylaws and they function independently. Why do we want to have somebody else's bylaws in our own group? We have a mission. We have a mission statement. We have a vision statement. We have things, the core groups, the core things that we worry about is education, health, and culture. Culture is our main focus. If someone feels that they want to form a group that wants to focus on something else other than these three items, go ahead. Why are we afraid of them forming their group? They don't have to come here for it. They don't have to send their information to BFU-USA. They should form their group, and we can partner with them just as we partner with everybody else in this country. Thank you so much.
For the sake of time, I'm going to entertain Fomi's hand, and that will be our last one. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Houston, for an amazing convention. I'm from America, from DC chapter. I think that the question we are not asking ourselves is, why is this discussion coming up? And I must say this, President Tar, thank you for recognizing John. And the thing that most people are missing, especially with the argument, is that people are sending away our Noni brothers or our Oko brothers. That's the market. The other tactic is we are trying to scare people on the consequences of name change, because we are saying dissolving, dissolution, and everything, or change. Tesla just moved from California to Texas. So let's leave the scare tactics and address why are our people doing this, or why all of a sudden this is gaining ground. When Sheikh Shemron stood up, he defined Bui division as was created to be coterminous with the plateau that defines the geographic boundaries of the Paramount Kingdom of Nsor. As a cultural organization, therefore, one can make a logical argument that we should use our cultural name, which is Nsor, instead of the administrative name, which is Bui, and justify that with the same statement. But I am glad that we are having this conversation. And Mr. President, you signed an MOU with Noni and Oku, which even actually ask people, are you by then recognizing that they are no longer part of us? That's another logical question. So, and I'm glad that after that MOU, we're hoping to have them at this conversation where we hope that such conversations of, my brother, what is happening? You know, you've been to OCU conventions many times in Virginia, and we've accompanied from New Jersey and DC, and we've gone there several times. I've been. But those that say there's name change are not necessarily saying that we are sending away our OCU brothers. They are saying that the structural name as a cultural organization, which is coterminous to the administrative name Bui, in so it does not necessarily mean that we are saying that they are no longer that. My issue is that this forces us to have these conversations. And let me digress a little bit. The tendency is that maybe when we are sending WhatsApp messages, it comes across as fighting. I think the conversation we are having now is what we should have in BFU-USA, where people should not look beyond the point someone is making. Because the tendency is that when I say, oh, maybe we should do this, or here are the ideas, it means that you are criticizing John or Peter or Paul or who is in charge. I think these are the type of conversations our organizations have. Right here and now, to some degree, I just sat here and Shuvanga just convinced me on why some of us that believe in name change should not. And I bought his point. And the sad thing is, we have the tendency to shut down conversations with argument or to ignore them as trivial. And this morning, we have proven how mature we are in having an open discussion like this, and we have proven, and it is something that we should encourage. And they have given me a reason to tell someone with whom we nurse the same idea that here is what I got in that open discussion, and here are the points they made. That does not signify it. But let us not market those who are advertising for, or those who stand for it, as trying to send away our OCU or Noni brothers. They might just think it's restructuring. Organizations restructure. Their mission remains the same, but we can restructure, right? But we should not castigate those who are thinking name change are being discriminatory or anything. Otherwise, I can say that, well, the original founding fathers were trying to do DEI, and we're not in the business of DEI. That can be the worst case scenario that someone can make.
We'll send eyes to you.
So let us, and I really appreciate the administration for opening up to this kind of discussions, and I want us that when we are doing this, we should be open as we are, both online, because that's where most of our conversations take place, and many people will live there knowing and being informed on what the consequences of such things, but let's avoid scare tactics.
Yes, thank you for me, and I appreciate the intervention. You mentioned one thing, and that is being lost in the conversation. You said mission statement, right? And that is part of the name change where the alarm bells went through, what some of us read. It intended change in the mission of the organization and things that will kind of like put out the objectives of the organization. That's why Shufai were talking about dissolution, because if the name change was coming with the bells and whistles that were attached to it, there is no way you achieve that name change without dissolving the organization. That's why Tesla is able to move from California to, because it's just kind of the structure, the mission, and everything else remain what it is, right? So in that case, that is different. You know, so I'm glad that you mentioned that we should not lose, just take the fact that we're arguing against name change. You know, we're asking for the value proposition in the name change, and because some of if everyone read it, it was because it came with some implications on the mission of the organization. And if you change the mission of the organization, it's no longer what was existing. It's a different thing. And therefore, the dissolution of the previous organization before you can go with that. Joe, I think check your time and let's see if there's anything else. But
Mr. President, we are 39 minutes over time, but this was such an important conversation that I could not interrupt. Thank you so much, Femi, for your closing. And just one more thing to echo, which has got nothing to do with the conversation here, but you did mention something about responding online. Our major means of communication is via WhatsApp. And I have read some of the heated conversations that sometimes do not need to be as heated. I would just suggest that when we write something in the heat of the moment, take a moment to read it back. Just read it and think about the person that's going to receive it and in what state of mind that person is, or just think about the moment, okay? Sometimes you write something with a different intent, but someone will read it with another intent and misinterpret what you read. Anything written can be read in any voice, and it's misinterpreted. And a lot of us get misinterpreted and misquoted, and we have, you know, emotions left and right that are very unnecessary and could be avoided. So please, let's be gentle with our words. Let's always assume good intent when we write and when we read from other people. Don't always assume the worst. And always, always, always think about being your brother or your sister's keepers. On that note, we're gonna take like a 10-minute recess, and then we'll come back for a health presentation from our very able AVP of Health. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks.
here ready, and she's about to begin her presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us have our seats. Thank you.
Please, let's get in. Let's get in for the presentation, please. Everybody, walk into the hall. Everybody, please, just come in. Let's have a 15 minutes, very important conversation here before we break out. I don't want to call names. If you are looking at me, please just walk into the hall. All right, let's do this. Please, let's get seated. When Kwana level key when everybody. Baburi. Please, let's get into the hall. You see, my family, you cannot be standing outside. I don't want to call names. Let's get into the hall, please. Ladies and gentlemen, just get in. Let's get this thing wrapped up real quick and get out of here. Who do I? No, you should look your way. No, you should look your way. Yeah. Please, let's get seated. Let's get in, please. All right. Let's sit down, get this thing wrapped up real quick. All right. Let's just sit down and get this thing done, please. Sit down. Huh?
Hello. Hi. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Mshati Withersm. Yiriamze Laura Tambe. So that's my little bit of lamp for you guys. I'm still trying, so bear with me. Like I said, my name is Laura Tambe. I am the AVP for the Health Services, and I just have a very short presentation. When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to present on, what I wanted to do, I wanted to figure out something that I could talk about that's important for the elders, the youth, and all the above. So it's about creating a work-life balance to improve our mental, emotional, and physical health. One thing that we know that we know how to work very hard, but working isn't everything. We have a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things that we put on our plate, but we have to have the balance, because if we don't, it will take us out physically, mentally, and emotionally. Why work-life balance matters. More than 70% of professionals state that they struggle to find a work-life balance, and it has a serious impact on us. Warning signs of imbalance: increased anxiety, easily angered, poor health, persistent fatigue, and you start to create a distance from your family and friends. Something you want to do to help that is working to reduce your stressors. So working less hours. A lot of people that I know in healthcare, I'm actually a respiratory therapist. So for those who don't know what a respiratory therapist is, I basically help people breathe, manage patients on ventilators, give breathing treatments to them, put them on oxygen. But I work long hours at times, 12.5-hour shifts every time I go to work, and I can do that 3 to 4 times a week. So it's important to create that balance and for me to reduce my stress. So just sticking to overtime, just sticking to the hours that I have that are mandated, getting more sleep, should get at least 8 hours of sleep a night, so that way your body can recharge and unwind. And creating boundaries, learning to say no. A lot of us in the room take on responsibilities for other family members, especially people back at home who don't have much and don't have the means They can't get jobs. The crisis that we're going through still in Cameroon. But it's important that you pour into yourself. You can't give to others if you're not giving to yourself. So that's really important. Creating those boundaries, learning to say no, and doing what's best for you, and especially those that are your children inside your house as well. Increase your physical activity. I know some of the elders, it's hard, going to the gym, using the gym. But something that's simple is buying weights in the house. Amazon is there. You can buy everything on Amazon, find everything on Amazon. Having weights, getting a walking pad, and just simply walking in the morning before you leave for work, or walking ending your day, walking throughout your neighborhood in the evening, just to make sure that you're getting up and staying active. You really need to take care of your body. You don't want that when it's finally time for you to retire, your body's all worn down and broken down because all you knew to do was work and you never took care of yourself. Something that helps with the work-life balance that's important, strengthening your relationships with those around you. So spend more time with your family members, spend more time with your friends, planning family vacations, quality time with the spouse, make those that are important to you, make time for them, and finding support groups. So at being a respiratory therapist, there's different support groups on Facebook, different things that tips that I've learned from those around me, being a respiratory therapist, cultural. So we have BFU, we're a family, so lean on each other. Different things that others are doing to reduce their stress or to take time and how they manage their family and having kids. Now you have 2 kids. You went from 2 kids to 3 kids to 4 kids, and we can lean each other. Like, what did you do to create that balance and still pour into yourself with all these responsibilities? Also, social groups. There's a lot of exercise groups, a lot of run clubs, different things you can do to make sure that you're staying active, pouring into yourself, and creating that balance. Like I said, it's very short. Life is short. Enjoy it while you can. You really want to pour into yourself and take that time. To give a little story, I had a coworker. She was a patient care tech for over 30 years. And by the time she retired, she had to have several surgeries, shoulder surgery. She had a torn rotator cuff that she never fixed. That was an old injury. And then not even a year later, her husband passed away. So finally getting that time to retire, she spent almost 70 years working. And when she retires, she's having surgery, so many ailments, and then she loses her husband that she barely spent time with because she was always at work. So just remember that where you have family and loved ones that you want to see and spend time with, and they want to see you, so really pour into yourself. Spend less time at work, pour more into you, and yeah, have a longer life. Thank you, and that's all. And I'm also open if anyone has any questions about my presentation or anything on respiratory. Definitely want to continue more education around health. BFU this year, our convention is about health, so having those conversations, looking to learn more about what others do as far as pharmacists, anyone nursing, case managers, and really just having the conversations from different perspectives to learn about those in the healthcare field. So, yes. Oh. Teacher voice.
Laura, thank you very much. I think this is one of the, while it was short and sweet, this is one of the most important topics. And I don't know if I say it's most important because I'm hitting a particular age range, that this is more important to me, but I think it's a really important topic for many of us. What I would add to it, not really a question, what I'd add to it is you are what you eat and you are what you drink. A lot of us don't hydrate enough. I think our bodies need a lot of water. A lot of us don't hydrate enough. And when we hydrate, we don't drink water. We drink things that our bodies cannot function on, which are limiting, right? So I think one thing I'd add to that is let's hydrate well. Water obviously is the baseline, but please cut back on alcohol consumption. I know we're at the convention, that's not a popular statement with a lot of karashin rooms around. Let's watch our alcohol consumption. The next is what we eat and when we eat. If you can, eat more vegetables, nuts and seeds. Cut back on refined sugars, refined fats, anything refined really. Get as close to nature as possible, right? So with more vegetables, nuts and seeds. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. For those with kids, how do you suggest, or what are some suggestions in order to spend time with your family and friends, especially when you have responsibilities at home, like mortgage and taking care of other people back home as well?
I think that's what having a village. So really seeing the resources in your community and around you. There's a lot of free activities and things that you can put your kids into in your different communities. So it's a little hard. It's like a general statement, but there's a lot of free activities, a lot of free summer programming that you can put your children in. And then just also creating a community around you. So one of my good friends has a handful of parents that she knows, and they all rotate the kids around. So 1 week, one person has 3 of the kids, then the next week, the other parent has the other kids. So really you leaning on a village and understand that you can't do it alone. No. And our uncle, thank you for those words about eating and drinking and pouring into ourselves. We do have a room here where we'll have some hydration, so some water, some Gatorades, different things to help you while you're here at convention. Please drink responsibly. You know, it's definitely important. And we'll talk more on the results of the survey that we put out tomorrow. So that's important. So we find those findings. And any other comments? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I just want to, add to what Ta has already said, but by sharing this, I want to say, it's almost like a saying, but basically the whole idea that sometimes our lives become too complicated because we actually complicate the life for ourselves, right? Mm. How many of you have heard the story of the fisherman and the industrialist? This guy goes on vacation, luxurious resort. He goes out, plays his golf, comes back, sunbathes, enjoys life. He notices that each day there's this fisherman that pulls up from the water, almost like clockwork. But he never has a lot of fish. He only has a handful. Day 1, day 2, day 3. He says, "Excuse me, I noticed that you always come up with just a few fishes each time you go fishing. Why is it that you're only catching a few when there's a lot in the ocean?" Guy says, "I don't need to catch more." He says, "Why don't you just catch more?" He says, "Okay, for argument's sake. What do you want me to catch more?" He says, "Oh, you sell them and make more money." Okay, so what do I do with the money? He says, "You buy a bigger net." Okay, what do I do with the bigger net? Catch more fish. Okay, what do I do with the more fish that I caught? Sell it, buy a bigger boat. Okay, what do I do with the bigger boat? Catch more fish. All right, then what do I do? Say, build a fleet. Yeah. Now you become a big man. Now you can get a lot of fish and you can become the guy who supplies the fish and stuff. And he says, "So then what do I do after that?" He says, "Then you can relax and enjoy." He says, What do you think I'm doing now? What do you think I'm doing now? I'm relaxing and enjoying life with just the few that I catch. I don't need too many to relax and enjoy. That to say, I think somebody asked a question there, how do you actually, spend time with family? You have commitments and mortgage and stuff like that. A lot of times, actually, the complications are because we think that the bigger house would make us more comfortable. Bigger car, make us more comfortable. Second vacation home would make us more comfortable. Except what you're doing is your house becomes a temporary place, right? You have to then go to work every day to pay for all those things. And then you don't have time to spend with your loved ones. So the question is, where do you actually stop chasing those things? What is the boundary? And I think that that's actually a very, very important thing for us to define in our lives. If we want to spend time with loved ones, if we want to enjoy life in its simplicity, and not actually get to a point where we're stressed and trying to figure out whether we're going to make the bills that are necessary at the end of the month and yada, 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 because of course, I know everybody loves a big SUV, right? But sometimes it's not necessary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That was a really, really good story because keep chasing money, it's never enough. It's never going to be enough. So I really love those words and I want to steal that. So, and lastly, I want to thank a few people, Auntie Ka for assisting me coming on the executive board, and my Uncle Ray for believing in me and giving me this opportunity to be up here. I plan to be doing more and having more programs and putting out more education. So I appreciate, those around me to put me in this position, and my family for being here to listen to my presentation too. So thank you. And shout out to DC chapter. Thank you all for being here too. See us tonight performing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laura. Please, a great round of applause for our AVP for Culture. She was amazing. Thank you, sister. Thank you very much. Without any further questions or comments, this brings us to the end of our program for now. Dinner starts in 30 minutes. Dinner starts in 30 minutes from 4 to 6 p.m. I am begging of all of us seated here with every fiber in my being, let us get ready to go to the hall from dinner. Let us not try to eat dinner and then go back to get ready, because it will put us way behind. We have so much to cover tonight, and tonight is always the biggest night of the event, of the convention. So if we want to have a good time, I am pleading with you, please tell the different chapter members, tell your family members, wherever they are right now, start getting ready. My dear fellow women, it's okay. We can throw small powder and splash small lipstick in 5 minutes. It's all right. It's not a fashion parade. We can do it. I believe in us. But please, let's come down for dinner, ready to finish eating, and then go downstairs to eat. See how yesterday we had so much time, so much fun after eating. We didn't know what to do with ourselves. We're looking at each other. That's what I want us to what to happen today. So please, let's finish our program on time. Let's come down to dinner early. Come ready to go to the event downstairs, and then we'll be on time and everything will be great. Shufai? I just got word from my very able Shufai and president of BFU Houston to remind all the men seated in the room and the different chapters that are here present, Manjong will start animating downstairs at 6 p.m. on the dot. Downstairs. So I'm sorry, for orientation's sake, we're on the 4th floor right now. The event, the cultural night and the gala will be downstairs on the 3rd floor, and when we leave this hall here from after dinner, you walk around past the last vendor and you take the stairs and you go downstairs to where the event center is. So that's where all the events are going to be. Our meals are going to be up here, our meetings will be in this room, but our events will be downstairs so that we're not using the same hall for the same events and wasting time changing over. So again, I'll repeat, all the men in this room, the expectation is that we're going to be downstairs at 6 o'clock. Please, chapter presidents, encourage your men to be downstairs at 6 o'clock. For all of us that are women, children, or not interested in Manjong, please be dressed, ready to go downstairs right after dinner. And thank you so much for your kind attention. Thank you for your participation, and see you later tonight. Thank you.
And thank you. And please, if there is a legacy that you want to carry along as you leave this convention, grab the magazine. Very important. Please. $10. Just do that. And if you can add more, you're supporting BFU. Very limited copies.